All right, and welcome to the Next Fitness Show. This is Alexis Craig, and I'm coming to you live right now. Today is Friday, it is March 27th, and I am so excited to bring you today's show. We do have an amazing special guest here on our show today. So, our topic today is going to be all about your relationship with alcohol. And I'm just going to bring you in real quick, Cricket, just so you can say, hey, let's see, I'm going to add you. All right. Hey, thank you for being our guest is Krista Cricket King. What do you want me to call you in here today?
You can call me Cricket.
All right, cool, cool. All right, Cricket. So we're gonna have Cricket in here, and she is gonna be talking about all things about your relationship to alcohol. And I'll bring you back in just a minute. I'm gonna give a little bit more. And we do have an amazing show. So besides that, we have a mid-show stretch break that is a chance for you to stand up and stretch it out and feel good in your body, even though you're sitting here and watching this with me right now. We will also have a move of the week. So it's a chance for you to check out a move that you already know how to do, probably, and to learn how to do it a little bit better and to understand why you would want to do that exercise. We have some announcements from the next fitness thing and a little surprise topic at the end. Okay, so the Next Fitness Show is a production of the Next Fitness Thing. The Next Fitness Thing is a wellness platform online, and we have all kinds of offerings. We have a lot of fitness offerings, just like our name, but we also have other kinds of things as well, including mindfulness. We have meditation. We have a lot of walking offerings in addition to strength and Pilates and bar and all the things. And you can take our classes live and you can also take them as replays. So check us out at thenextfitnessthing.com. And you can also find us on all the socials at the Next Fitness Thing. Okay, so without further ado, let's do this thing. We have our guest. I'm going to show your headshot in here. First of all, this is Cricket here in all her wonderful gorgeousness. And today we are going to be talking about questioning your relationship with alcohol. All right,
Yes.
let's do it. I'm going to read your bio first, just so everybody gets a little sense of who you are. So, Cricket is the founder of Cricut Fixes. She's the co-creator of Zero for Life, a bold science meets soul movement helping people ditch alcohol and reclaim their power. After doing her own deep healing work, including CPTSD recovery and breaking free from toxic patterns in alcohol, she now helps others rewire their brains, regulate their nervous systems, and become their most authentic, fully expressed selves. Wow, awesome. I just like resonate with
Let's
what
go.
yeah, I resonate with what you're doing so much, so much. Okay, so first of all, what do you want to say about your introducing yourself? I mean,
Ooh,
say hi to everyone is I guess the first
yeah.
thing.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm really excited to share my passion around questioning your relationship with alcohol. I think it's a great place to start and becoming curious. Most of us who are tuning in and going, oh, okay, let me listen in. There's probably a little whisper, a little nudge, a little inner knowing that's coming up to say, I think it's time to look at this. And so that's what we're going to do today.
I love it.
I'm excited to share my backstory.
Awesome. All right, we're excited for that too. So, for those of you who are here live, I would love for you to do a couple of things. One is in the chat, like in the live chat, say hi. That way we'll know who's actually here. Otherwise, I just see a number on the screen and I can't tell who's actually here. So far I can see Kelly saying hello. I can see Aaron saying hello. My mom's in here saying happy Friday and happy weekend. But there's more people here than that. So if you're here in the chat, jump in there and say hey. Also, I would really appreciate if you push the like on this video. And if you are watching this as a replay, please be in the comments and even just say hi in the comments. It really makes a difference for us. And I will respond to all your comments too. So, all right. So, Cricket, tell us, how did you get started with this? Why is this such a meaningful topic for you?
Yeah, so I'm going to take us back to 2012.
Okay.
So I've been in the hospitality industry doing revenue management for over 30 years. But back in 2012, something was just like calling to me. Something big was off in my life. I'm sure we've all been at these points where we're like, I'm just on the wrong track. And so I just Googled soul retreat. I'm like, I want to go on a soul retreat. So I went to Sedona, Arizona. I met with over 11 practitioners in 5 days. Like I
Wow.
completely and what's interesting about that is within 6 months, I became a certified hypnotherapist. I got my second life coaching certification. I got my Reiki level 2, and I got a nutritional therapy certification. So I really like something cracked open in me. And there was the way that I describe it is there was this major 180. Well, in 2015, I decided to give up alcohol for a year. So a little backstory on that. I started drinking when I was 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
As you mentioned in my bio, I have healed from complex PTSD from having a mother who was severely bipolar.
Oh,
So at a
wow.
very young age, I learned how to deal with my overwhelmed nervous system by using alcohol. So I would say that off and on, there were times when I was like heavier in my alcohol abuse than not. And it was really around the age of like 26 to 36 was the peak of it, as well as um, I would say even just 4 years ago, before I gave up alcohol, it really peaked. I was in a very toxic relationship. So anyhow, in between there, I gave up alcohol for a year, thinking that I had rewired my brain, changed my relationship with it, which, yes, that was absolutely true. However, the alcohol started creeping back in because I never developed the tools to regulate my nervous system. I was
Mm,
doing tons of therapy. So that was, I was thinking, I was managing all of these emotions that were coming up. But it's very different than managing the trauma, the stored trauma in your body, and learning how to regulate your nervous system to get through really difficult times in life. So, in November of 2023 is when I had my last drink ever. I just knew my intention was I want to go back to being able to take 30 days off at a time, doing these detoxes a few times a year and getting back to this, healthy relationship. About 6 months in, I started saying to myself, why would I ever do this again? It's zero for life for me. I literally started saying zero for life. So that became my own mantra and really the name of the program that I now run. So
cool.
that's my backstory.
That's so awesome. Wow. I mean, first of all, thank you for sharing with such vulnerability about all
Oh
of
yeah.
this. I think it's really powerful to hear your story. And I think, I mean, for me at least, it's also really relatable. I've also had a up and down relationship with alcohol over the years. And I also started drinking when I was a teenager. Not, I wasn't 13, but I mean, it was part of like my family culture. It was also part, I grew up in a party town. I mean, I'm from South Lake Tahoe, California, where people are coming from all over the world to get hammered and gamble. And the bars
Yeah.
are open 24/7, you know? And
Yeah.
so it was like the high school experience for me was like very I wasn't totally immersed in it at that point, but it was really around me. And it was for me not until college, but I also have had I always say I've had my share of alcohol in this life. And I also no longer drink alcohol. For me though, it was like the question I usually get a lot of people always ask me like, "Oh, so, did you do AA or something like that?"
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
like for me, no, I didn't. I also did a ton of therapy and it's been a process. I would say the first like 5 years was like white knuckling.
Yeah. That's what I'm
uh,
hoping to change.
right. Oh, totally.
Just
So
yeah.
I mean, the other thing, okay, I do want to go there, but I actually want to mention first of all, Donna D is in the chat saying hello. Hey, awesome. Anybody else
Hi.
who's here live, say hi. I want to know who's here. Um, and I just also want to mention, so the way that Cricket and I met was on a show kind of like this. So the not the previous platform that a lot of you guys know me from, but the previous platform that was like the precursor to that. We used to have something called Walk and Learn, and Cricket was one of my guests on Walk and Learn, and we had such an awesome, I don't even remember what we were talking about on that show,
I don't
but
either. It was a
but you
long
were like
time
just
ago.
such a powerful coach, and I
Oh,
just could get
thank you.
along with you so easily, and I could really
Mhm.
just feel this resonance that we stayed in touch. And so
Yeah.
then during the pandemic, you were on some kind of like epic road trip, and
Yeah.
you ended up in Tahoe, and so then we ended up hanging out for like, I don't know, it was a weekend or something, and
Hmm.
it happened to be Rosie's 50th birthday. And it happened to also be your 50th birthday
Yes.
on the same day.
Yeah.
Literally the same day. Rosie and Cricket had the same, not just birthday in the year, the actual day in
Yeah.
time. They were born on the
Yeah.
same day. And
Yeah.
so they had their 50th birthday party together.
I
And
crashed hers. That's
right,
where
yeah. That's true, that's true. But it was epic. It was so fun.
it
And that
was.
whole weekend, I was like hanging out with your friends that were in Tahoe. And it was during the pandemic. It was like there was definitely alcohol. At that time, I was the
Oh
one who
yeah.
was not drinking alcohol when everybody else was. So it feels like so awesome and interesting to me that now like we're here and like
Yeah.
this is like the thing you're totally
I
into. It makes
know.
me really happy
I
actually.
know. It's so good. So, a few things with that. I too, I never resonated with AA. And in fact, you know what? I'm such a believer in ending the shame of what it means to be a human. So I talk really openly and honestly. So for all of your loyal viewers, put in the chat like the craziest question you may have for me because I will answer it honestly. That is literally my superpower is to be vulnerable because I know what humans are experiencing. And so for me, there were a few things. When I gave up alcohol, I was drinking 6 to 8 drinks a night or 7 to 8 drinks a night every night
Mhm.
easily. So we're talking a couple bottles of wine. And it was to the point where I was like spacing it out in the day too. Thank God I was very careful not to drink and drive, but I was planning alcohol around my activities.
Right.
It was wild. And
Mhm.
so I want to share that because I think nobody around me knew how much I was drinking. And I
Mhm.
think if they did, they would have been like, oh my gosh, go to meetings. I never resonated with AA. And I only, now I want to make this very clear. It is a very powerful program that has served many.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm only
Especially because it's
speaking.
free and they have open door
Absolutely.
policy. Like that is
Absolutely.
amazing.
It is amazing. There's so many amazing components to it. But I came to understand why I didn't resonate with it. And part of it, Alexis, and I teach this in Zero for Life, is it's our identity, right? It's creating a new identity. And for me, my identity is health, wellness, spirituality, living my most vibrant, authentic self. My identity is not in labeling myself an alcoholic.
Right.
And actually, the label alcoholic is not even a medical term, which is
Wow.
fascinating to me. And of course, I learned this through partnering with Dr. Jennifer Rossi. So I came to understand why I was resistant to that. Another thing is I am about, again, this is me and my beliefs, honing our personal power, tapping into our inner knowing, diving deep instead of giving our power away to another source. It doesn't mean I'm not spiritual and I don't connect with something,
Hmm.
but that was the idea of hopelessness to something greater did
Yep.
not work with me.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and so what I did is I took my concepts in hypnosis I knew that there was a neural pathway rewiring that needed to happen. But then I also just dug in deep into what's happening with the neurotransmitters in my brain. Like, how can I start to stabilize those too? So you're not white knuckling it, right? Because that's really there's the science biological component. There's also the neural wiring component. There's
Mm-hmm.
also an identity component that's going on
Mm-hmm.
there. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going on.
Oh, I mean, I'm so with you with that. I have the same issue. I'd never tried to go to AA for alcohol, but I have all kinds of like compulsive behavior things going on in my world. So I definitely went and checked out 12-step programs, and I found that constantly telling myself, I am this problem. I am this problem. I am this problem. I was like, this is goes against everything of the way that I'm,
Yes,
you know, the ways that I have found to change my life in positive directions. Like this language is seems like it's the opposite of what I want to be telling
that's right.
myself.
That's right.
So, I mean, I can also understand that they're having you do that so that you're not in denial, so that you're actually facing the problem and I mean, I get that. And I just feel like the way that that curriculum was written is kind of like archaic now. It was revolutionary at the time, is my
Sure.
understanding, and that now they've been using this exact same curriculum for a really long time. And that's part of what makes it good is that you're not allowed to change it, so you know what you're going to get everywhere you go. But it's also like maybe time for a refresh with
Yeah, I don't
it.
know. I don't know. I allow
So
them to be in their
yeah, they
magical
can do their
space
thing,
and I
but
create my magical space.
totally, totally. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just, it's really great to hear that your experience with this. And I also just want to say, I know that maybe your story might sound extreme to some people. A lot of people I think are going to find it very relatable. And for me, it's very relatable. And I think that for some people, they might not be on like, 6 to 7 drinks a day that they're planning their
Yeah.
day around. It might be more like I'm having a couple of drinks with dinner every night, or I'm drinking only on the weekends and maybe I have one big night, or maybe I'm
Yes.
not drinking that often, but when I do, I mean, I go
I,
big,
yep.
or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of different relationships to alcohol. So I would love to hear from you, like why is it important that you drink no alcohol, do you think? Or what do you
I
think
love
about
this.
this?
I love this question because there really is a spectrum of alcohol use and alcohol abuse. I want to start by saying I am not demonizing alcohol.
Right.
Because that can be, I really want to open that up because if as long as I'm not demonizing it, there's an openness and a curiosity, right? I don't judge people that drink because I know what's going on. Now, let's talk about because this happens a lot. Is people will come to me and say, I only drink once a week. But the interesting thing is, when I drink, I have 3 to 4 drinks. And what I really wish is I only had one or two, right? And so then the question becomes, well, why? And understanding your own patterning is a big part of what we do in Zero for Life too. I call it trigger mapping,
Mm-hmm.
is starting to understand that. There is no amount of alcohol that is considered safe, and that is released by the World Health Organization.
Mm-hmm.
It is linked to 7 cancers. It is linked to brain disorders like dementia, Parkinson's, as you age. So the ideal scenario, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, everything in moderation." No, not with alcohol. It is literally a poison in your body, and I do believe within probably 7 years, at the rate that the information is coming out and the spreading of the information, that one day we will look at alcohol like we do cigarette smoking. Like, why would you do it, right? There's other ways to get a buzz that aren't being processed and looked at as poison in your body, like pure
Right.
poison.
Yeah, right.
So
I mean, I'm so with that. It's like the thing I will say that I totally understand why people want to drink alcohol. I get it, right?
totally.
Like I've had my share. I mean, for a number of reasons. For one,
Yes.
like it makes it at least for me, and I'm now like facing all these ways I'm neurodivergent, which may have a lot to do with this as well. But like it makes it so much easier for me to be social actually
Yes.
while I'm drinking
Yes.
alcohol. And also it I can see how it is has a positive effect on birth rates if you drink alcohol. So I mean it I can see how a lot of people are probably end up, a lot more open. I personally, I went to when we first launched the previous platform, they sent me to Australia and for 3 months, and I didn't drink alcohol. And I was at that time, I wasn't. I was on Tinder. I was like dating people on Tinder, and I would go on these dates, and alcohol is like, if you think alcohol is part of the American culture, it is even more in Australia. I mean, it is
Yeah.
just so part of the culture to drink alcohol. They
Yeah.
literally in the WeWork like have beer that you can just drink at work as much as you want anytime.
Yeah.
And I mean, to go on this date and the guy is expecting to drink alcohol, and then I'm like, oh, I'm good, you can drink, like I don't care. But it either would make it so that he would drink double the amount that maybe he would otherwise because he's kind of uncomfortable that I'm not drinking,
Yes.
or he
Yes.
would try to not drink, and like a lot of the time they wouldn't drink because I'm not drinking. But then you can tell there's this like awkwardness because they're not used to being in this scenario sober,
Yeah.
and it's like really weird to be sober if you're used to being having that little edge off socially. So
That's
I don't know,
right.
I would be curious to hear for you, like what kind of changes have you noticed? When do you find it
Yeah.
hard? What have you
I
noticed
don't
that's
find it
different?
hard at all
That's good.
anymore. Like, not at all. But I think that's, a function of the other component that I bring to the work is the soul of it. It's the identity of it, right? Like, why do we feel socially awkward to begin with, right? So it's really unpacking the layers of who we are and how we show up. And I mean, I could go on a tangent about this because really it comes down to healing those inner child wounds and those attachment wounds that we developed in early childhood that make us understand our worth. So part of what I do with my work is I give them access to other courses that are going to help really develop your self-esteem, right? So it's not just I'm using this to regulate my nervous system or slow my brain down. It's I am using it to, oh my gosh, this thing that I'm dealing with is so big that I need to turn the volume down on it. Which the funny thing is it actually increases anxiety. It only temporarily brings that anxiety down.
Yep.
The rebound effect is actually quite severe.
Yep.
So,
Same for
what
depression. It makes you sadder,
yes,
actually.
exactly. And so when I talk to people about who, yeah, every now and then I just want to go out and let loose, it's really starting to explore the deeper why. And like I get it. Like again, I'm not demonizing wanting to party and, every now and then I will take substances that, might let me feel something, but they're
Hmm.
not poison to my body. And it
Right.
I'm doing it so infrequently and I'm being so conscious about it. Like, why am I choosing to do this? Is there anything negative that I'm trying to mask?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, for me, like there's the places where alcohol is very that I find like it's like ingrained in religious practices. It's ingrained in
Right.
like my family tradition culture. It's
Yeah.
like all of these things like that. So
Yeah.
um I there's times definitely where I still I don't want to say I find it hard. It's not that it's hard. It's just there's like this sort of grief sometimes for me where I'm just like everybody else is doing this, and
Well, it's your family. Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's what's interesting about that is it it doesn't even faze me to not drink anymore until someone has their third drink. And then I'm
Interesting.
out. I'm out. As soon as I can see someone's personality starts to shift,
Yeah.
that's the hard part for me now is
Interesting.
observing that. And not again, not from a judgment place, but from a I can't be present with you
Yeah.
anymore. And my relationships that I have now, I've only lost a couple friends, but it's fascinating. Like people worry about losing their tribe. Me without even trying. I would say 90% of my friends don't drink or rarely drink. Like that's a really high percentage. And I wasn't going to, alcohol-free events where I knew I would meet people. Like it was just easy.
That's good.
And the reason why is because when you are alcohol free, you start to connect with a presence and an identity that is so deep that only authentic connection lights you up.
That's
And
right.
and so when
Hmm.
someone starts over consuming, I just remove myself. I just go home.
Yep. Yep. I can relate to that so much. For me, it actually did really change my social circle because I was working at a bar. And so all my friends
Oh,
involved,
yeah.
like, I was, a cocktail waitress, bartender, and I was basically like, all my friendships were around the bar. And so then for me, I stopped drinking because I got really into fitness and I had some fitness goals that I was trying to meet, and I could not drink alcohol and also hit my fitness goals. I
Yeah.
really had to like look at my priorities and choose what's important to me right now. So I didn't really choose in the moment that I wasn't going to drink anymore. I just wasn't going to drink right now because there's no way that I'm going to be able to hit this fitness goal and also drink alcohol. This is something that I had to give up. I also had to give up a lot of other like eating candy and like other things like that, right? It was just
Right.
part of the thing. And so
Yeah.
like I didn't drink alcohol, and it was so interesting because there were so many things in my life that stabilized when I stopped drinking
Hmm.
alcohol. Like all of
Yeah.
a sudden my sleep
Sleep.
got
Yep.
so even and it got really restorative, and I actually started feeling so much better in the morning. My mood, I mean, I had never recognized before that how much my mood would go up and down, and
Yeah.
it still does. Of course, I'm a woman, it's normal, but like
You're
it was
human.
right, that too, but I mean the hormonal cycle of that whole thing is totally
Yeah.
a piece, but it like made my mood cycle so much more extreme when I was
Yeah.
drinking alcohol.
Yep.
Also, my menstrual cycle like was not very regular, and when I stopped drinking alcohol, it completely
Ooh.
normalized.
Wow.
Like, I mean, it also I without I was working on fitness goals, but there were certain like plateaus that I would hit where I would not be able to get past that plateau. And then when I stopped
Yeah.
drinking the alcohol, it all of a sudden just went way off the charts. Like it
Yep.
improved my performance amazingly, actually, from not drinking alcohol because I wasn't poisoning myself. Like,
Yes.
it was working against me. I'd be curious to hear for you, what other changes have you noticed in your
Yes.
body or
All
your
of
life?
those things. So, I want to go back to the quote unquote moderate drinker. Maybe you're having 1 to 2 drinks a day. That 1 to 2 drinks is disrupting your restorative REM sleep,
Hmm.
period.
Yep.
Period. So if you have any sleep issues, if you have any dementia or, any brain disorders, mental illness in your family, the risk goes up and up. But the other thing for me is joy,
Hmm.
pure joy. So, what happens when you consume alcohol is it takes over your dopamine receptors, basically shutting them down. And so now you're relying on the alcohol for this, like this buzz, right? When you come off of alcohol, and this is why a lot of people talk about feeling numb, feeling worse for a period of time, it's because your dopamine receptors are just starting to recalibrate and refunction and come back into balance and work on their own. We don't talk about this nearly enough because everyone thinks, oh, great, I give up alcohol and like life is great. And there's this period of time. And for me, it was about this 6 month point. But the big one of the biggest changes, yes, I dropped 20 pounds in a year. Like, yes, my sleep got it dialed. Yes, my I was in chronic pain, chronic inflammation, like
Yep.
rolling out of bed to get out of bed. I have Hashimoto's. I should have never had a drink ever. But the joy that I feel now is greater than any joy I have ever felt before. This
Oh.
this being able to be in your own soul and love the heck out of who you are and have your brain neurotransmitters support that. It's a joy. I have the highest highs now. And yes, life still throws me things and I process it so much more quickly now. There's not this like delayed resistance. And I just go to my toolbox and I go, okay, what's going on? Let's check it out. So joy, restoring joy and actually escalating it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting you bring that up. I feel like for me, it's like the joy level overall has increased for
Yeah.
me, right? Like it's like the default state level of what kind of joy I have access to has totally risen. And when
Yes.
I was drinking alcohol, there was this sense of like adventure and kind of like playfulness that it would bring out. And so I would be, and kind of gave me this thing to look forward to, like, oh, we're gonna go out tonight. Oh, we're gonna go whatever.
We're gonna let
So
loose.
yeah, and exactly. And it would
Hmm.
be really fun, and I would really have fun while I was doing it. So it wasn't like, so there is, I don't want to say there's like a sense of loss with that, but like I'm not, my behavior is different. I was also young at the time. Like for me, the times of that I was drinking was more like 18 to 28 was like really my like alcohol time of my life. But
Hmm.
like since drinking, but like after drinking alcohol, there would always be this like wave of shame that would happen afterward. And
Yeah.
it took me a while to recognize that that was not just my own emotional field, that was actually part of the experience of the drug to be in that shame and to really
Mm.
feel the, it's like, people call it a hangover, but there's way more than just like the
Oh yeah.
feeling nauseous and all of that.
Yes.
There's way more to the downside after the alcohol
Yes.
than people are recognizing.
Yeah, you're
And
having
so,
an alcohol rebound in the brain, and that's where the anxiety comes from.
right.
It actually causes anxiety.
Totally. And so
Hmm.
it would be like this high, but at the expense of that high would be this way lower low. And the lower low for me kept lasting longer and longer and longer over time. Where like, is it worth it for me to have one really fun night, but then have like five really bad days?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I talk about is that like I've known for a long time, probably from all of my trauma experience, that when I have the ability to live in joy, I want to live the best possible life that I can. And it really came down to that identity shift of who am I? I'm someone that's happy. I'm genuinely happy. That doesn't mean I don't have sad times. That doesn't mean I fall into crisis and fear and all the normal human interactions. But I actually have more fun now.
That's good.
And it's probably because I've done a lot. You know, I don't I don't I don't ignore the grief, right? That grief is part of the cycle.
Hmm.
The looking at the loss of the community relations, there is a grieving process that should be had and experienced and integrated so that you really can then move into this like, okay, so what? Like I am literally the life of the party as I was before. I'm the one grabbing the mic and getting up on the on to karaoke. Like if anything, I own it even more and I feel a sense of pride for myself because it's coming from an authentic place, not a place that lowered the inhibitions in my brain.
Right, right. Yes, right. It's like um my capacity for intimacy has increased exponentially from
Yes.
not using alcohol.
Yes.
Yeah.
Its
And
impact on relationships is like, it's massive. It's
absolutely. And it's
massive.
like you feel like you have a real connection with someone. I mean,
Hmm.
where I don't know, for me when I'm drinking alcohol, there's a sense of that connection, and that's maybe what I actually wanted out of drinking the alcohol was that feeling of connection that I would get while I was drinking the alcohol. And now the thing was it was a skill set that I actually needed to build over time in order to have the capacity, especially from trauma, right? Like there's a
Yeah.
barrier
Yeah.
to intimacy from trauma. And
Yeah.
so processing that made it more that I'm able to have this experience of intimacy with myself. And I'm not like talking necessarily, I mean, I am, but when I say intimacy with myself, I mean, it's not just about like sexual intimacy or something. It's like
No, not
just
at all. It's
understanding and having
relational.
a
Yeah.
relationship with
Yeah.
myself where I am like looking deeply inside and attuning and all of these things. And
Yes.
same thing with other people. It's like I'm able to have these much more deep, rewarding, connected relationships with people now because it's
Yeah.
based on like, it's not because it's like based on sobriety, it's because it's just authentic.
That's what it is. It's actually based on trust and safety. And trust and safety is built when you are alcohol free because that trust is I can trust that you are being you and I'm being me, right?
Right,
As soon as
right.
we
That
layer
makes so much
alcohol,
sense.
that's right. As soon as we layer alcohol on it, I can't trust that what you said to me was what was real. And it's
Right.
also people say, I got into this social media exchange, we'll call it, with someone who's like, well, some people need it to really be themselves and to show their true selves. And I say, no, that's not necessarily their true selves. It's just a lack of inhibition. Like when we are our true selves, we are able to use our functioning brain to go, hey, is that there's discernment in that. You don't get discernment when you're using alcohol to a certain level. So when you can have those vulnerable conversations with someone, when you can see them, when you can validate their experience, when you can hold space for them and they can do that for you, that's where the intimacy comes from because there's trust, because you are not altered with the words that you are saying.
Right. Right. I mean, how many times have you had it where you say somebody says something to you when they're drinking, and then the next day you're like, was that the beer talking? Or was that, did they mean
Yeah.
that when they said
Oh
that?
my gosh, you just made me think of like beer goggles, right? Oh my
Totally.
gosh, it's
You're
such a
like, does this person
horrible.
even like me or were they just
Such a
wasted last
horrible, I
night?
know,
Like,
I know. And like, I don't want to live like that, right? I don't want to live. The way that I describe it is alcohol is a veil. It's just a veil. There's a little layer that gets between you and me. And I don't care if it's an interaction with the grocery store clerk ringing up my groceries or if it's someone, a dear friend, I'm sitting down having a deep conversation. I don't want anything to get in the way of my soul shining on them.
hmm, beautiful. I noticed that your program, one of the things it says is that it's like the tagline is science meets soul method. And
Yes.
we've been talking a little bit, like, I get the science side, but what is the
Yeah.
soul side of what you're talking about with the program?
Yeah, and that's where all that identity stuff comes up, right? So I literally crafted the program that I kind of cobbled together myself from my hypnotherapy background, my nutritional therapy background, my life coaching background, motivational interview. So I took all of those components and I was able to do a lot of that on myself. But there's more to that. And that kind of goes back to this like spiritual work that I do. Like one of the meditations is how to drop in and connect with your higher self about what's really going on. What do you really want for your life? So I think that like both are important. I needed both that identity change, that like who we are, that is such a big component of giving up alcohol. So to me, that's the soul of the program. The soul of the program is also around our community, the conversations that we have. We have every other week, we have a live session where we come in and say, all right, what's going on, where we can like celebrate what's happening. And we also say you do not have to give up alcohol to join our mastermind. It's really an exploration. But what's interesting is when you go through the tools, when you do the fear inventory checklist, right? Like that's a soul component of it, but it's a really powerful component. When you write the letter to alcohol, like really looking at your relationship and have a conversation with it, that's the soul aspect of it. These two components to me are like, I'm so proud of this mastermind and what we've put together because both are necessary to make the journey through it easier and
Hmm.
not white knuckling it.
Hmm. I
EFT
imagine
tapping.
effective too. It's only going to work if you're doing
Yes.
both sides of that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, like the way that I describe it is, you can be the salmon swimming upstream trying to get home, like fighting, 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 or you can just turn around and go with the current. So go with the tools that are just literally leading you in that direction. And then the next thing you know, you're like, why would I do this again? Why would I ever get into that mental gymnastics that every day I'm like trying to moderate, trying like that's I think that's the thing that I love to speak to is you can make the choice to work toward moderation.
Right.
But why? When it's so much easier to live without it. It's just the fear that keeps us thinking that that can't be possible.
I hear you. I
Yeah.
so hear you. I thought that too. I thought, oh, I can just like make my relationship so I don't have that much alcohol anymore. And it's actually easier to just not have it than it is. It's the same for sugar for me. It's like
Yeah, same thing.
it's harder for me to have a little sugar than it is for me to have no sugar.
Totally. Totally. I'm in that boat right now. I'm like
Mhm.
10 days sugar free and I'm like,
Nice.
yay. Here's what I would say to anyone listening who's questioning their relationship with alcohol.
Hmm.
If you're having more than two drinks a week, like I'll just, there's a spectrum, there's hereditary, if you're having more than two drinks a week, that's when it's time to start becoming curious about, all right, give it up for 30 days and see how you feel and see what comes up.
Hmm.
And that's the invitation is you don't have to go, oh my gosh, I'm going down this road. It's like, just do the trigger mapping. And what that means is basically if anytime you would normally, go through your day, say, hey, I'm going to give up alcohol for a week. And if that's too hard, if that seems too much, do 3 days. And if that seems too much, do one day.
Right.
But write down what comes up throughout the day. You're literally mapping the time, the conversations, the relationships, the people,
Hmm.
the season, what's going on, the event. You're
Hmm.
literally mapping out everything that says, hey, to your brain, this is what we do. When this happens, we go do this. And just
Right.
start to become curious about those things and what's underneath.
That's a great idea. I love that actually. I did something similar with that even with binge eating in the past, like mapping it out, like why am I doing this? What's happening? And it was so powerful. It was
Yes.
super powerful. Wow, your program sounds amazing. Okay, I'm gonna put the link up for everybody. So if you guys are interested in doing Zero for Life, tell us a little bit. What else do we need to know?
Yeah, so what's great about it is it's self-paced and you get lifetime access to all the tools. And we put the material in such a way that you can do it over 6 weeks. You can watch the videos of Dr. Jennifer Rossi and I, because we really build this story about what's happening in the brain, what's happening in the body, giving you the motivation from a health perspective. But then you'll get EFT tapping sessions, my guided hypnosis sessions. So ways that you can really, we call it the 33 tools of transformation, whether it's a journal soul prompt or whether it's a meditation. but we meet people where they are, and then you can move throughout that content as you're called to. And then every other week, I lead a live session with the folks that are in the mastermind so that you can get some support and some community. But we also have our community feed that we run on Mighty Networks. So you can be in there anytime, any day. Oh my gosh, Cricut, I need a boost. What's going on? You also get lifetime access to my entire membership platform, which
Nice.
includes
Wow.
inner child healing, a course on inner child healing. It includes recordings to my soul observation sessions that I run every other month. So you can unlock a lot more information. And if any of your listeners are like, oh, I'm really curious about this, I want to know more, if you go to the website, you can schedule a free discovery call with me so we can talk about where you're at. And I will let you know honestly if I think another path is going to be more effective for you, or if you can see, yeah, this makes sense. I want to dive in deep and do this work.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Wow. It sounds like a really generous offer. So to check it out, the URL is cricketfixes.com/0 dash forward dash life, spelling out the word zero. So check that out. I will put that also in the notes below for those of you on YouTube so that you can find it in the description as well. All right, cool. All right, so I think that probably wraps up our talk about this for right now. It is time for our stretch break. All right, so Cricket actually chose our stretch today, and our stretch today, I would call this a chest stretch.
Yes.
Tell us about this stretch. Why do you like this? What does this mean to you?
Well, now we get into what I have used to help me move off of alcohol with ease, and that's my favorite sport, pickleball.
Nice.
So really it's just a simple stretch, but what it's really helping me with is not just open up the chest, but it really helps support stretching and warming up my rotator cuff too on my
Mm,
with my paddle. So
mm-hmm.
even if you have a wall where you can, put your arm up on the wall to your forearm and then lean into that. I love that one too. But
Nice.
sometimes it's just a reminder. I'm like, oh yes, let's warm up that rotator cuff.
Awesome. All right. So I encourage you guys to actually physically do this right now. Reach your arms out. Maybe your palms are up and slightly forward, and really pull your arms back and take a big deep breath into your heart. Ah, yeah. Keep reaching and breathing. Awesome. I love this stretch so much. I feel like for this stretch, it opens up your breath. It makes it so much easier for you to breathe into your heart and breathe all into your entire body, including into your back. Opens your shoulders. Also, just in being like a heart-centered person and allowing yourself to feel what's going on in your heart, which that attunement is a big piece, at least for me, of finding this more balanced life and all of this, like connecting with my heart. And I'm not just talking in a metaphorical sense, physically feeling what's going on in the center of my
Mm.
chest is like such a tool. So being able to open that up and breathe and feel it. Also for me, this like is this sort of at the same time, it can be an inquiry pose, it can be a victory pose, and it can be
Yes.
this way of like asking this connection to the above to bring and allow the energy to come down and in and through me and just saying thank you and yes, like that is what that posture really means to me. Yeah, I love that. So thank you for sharing your favorite stretch with us. I would call this chest stretch. If you do it with the bent elbows, I'd call it probably like cactus pose. But anyway, but
You're
yeah,
the pro there. Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. I love it. All right, so because you love pickleball, I tried to pick another exercise that would go along with making this pickleball friendly. So we're going to go into the move of the week today. And our move of the week today is all about making your shoulders happy. So I know that whether or not you're into pickleball, having your shoulders be happy is super important, especially for women, because And women tend, like, frozen shoulder is a real thing and it can be an issue. And especially if you're doing some type of movement where it's intense for shoulder. So that could be something like pickleball, where you're going to be doing internal and external rotation on a regular basis. But it can be as much as like getting your purse out of the back seat of your car or opening doors or whatever. Tearing your shoulder is a debilitating injury that happens especially to women. It's very, very common, especially when you get to perimenopause and beyond. So, this exercise is really, really great for helping your shoulders be happy. And it is. This is shoulder external rotation. We're showing this with a band. So if you have a loop resistance band, this is Ritvic demonstrating this external shoulder rotation. You put the band around your wrists and you just gently externally rotate. You don't have to have a band. You can do this anytime with just your body weight by externally rotating. And I love that, Cricket, that you mentioned the doorway, because if you wanted to stretch this, you could open it up, put your hand in something like the doorway, and allow yourself to stretch in this way as well. Now, I have a second version of this to show you. This is Mary Beth doing the same exercise. Mary Beth likes to actually hold on to the resistance band instead of putting it around the wrists, but it works either way. Um, and I will just say with this, rotators are very delicate. You don't want to overload this exercise. And you know, those of you who work out with me, you know that I'm all about going heavy, and then I'm always encouraging you to lift like more than you think that you can. This is the kind of exercise, no. You want to start really light. You want to keep this very light. You don't need that much resistance to get benefit out of this. It can be just a light resistance band, or if you're going to use weights, what I would suggest is hinge forward. A lot of people try to use the weights and they're doing it in the same posture standing up, but you're not getting the same resistance because the weight's going to pull it down and you want the resistance to go back. So if you're going to do this with a dumbbell, hinge your body forward and do it from that position. All right. Donity says, Amen on keeping your shoulders happy, right? Yeah, totally. That's the thing. Okay, so with that, it's time for some announcements from the next fitness thing. I actually have a really, really exciting announcement coming up first. Our first announcement right now is our next challenge. I know you guys have been waiting for this for a while, and here it is. The time has come. Our next challenge is coming up on April 6th, and it is the Start with Strength challenge. Now we're calling this Start with Strength because this is a perfect challenge if you are just getting started building strength. But for those of you who have been doing strength training, this is going to be a great way for you to up your game. This strength challenge is above any strength challenge we've ever done before, because not only are we doing strength exercises, we are tracking all along the way. Each day of the week has one specific move. So the Monday is the push-up day. You are going to record how many reps in what version of the push-up that you do, and I'm going to be able to actually see what you put in for that every single time. So that's going to help you track your progress over time. You're going to be able to see your results over time. That kind of tracking, it's kind of like what Cricket was talking about with noticing how it's going over time. It makes all the difference because you actually notice that it's working, and it makes it so that you can see your results without even having to wait. You can see the results. So check it out. You go to thenextfitnessthing.com/strength to sign up. Members do get a discount. TNFT members do get a discount on this challenge, but it is open to everyone. And I'm just so excited to share this program with you. The program is 5 days a week as far as the actual strength classes, but the program actually gives you assignments for 7 days a week for 3 weeks. So, and my intention with this is actually to make it so that you can repeat the program as well. So check it out. And I'm really, really excited to launch this program with you guys. All right, moving on. Our next announcement is our walking book club. Our walking book club is this Sunday. It's on March 29th. So if you haven't finished the book yet, make sure that you finish it up. You have a couple more days. The book is Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and this month's book club is with Anna. So if you didn't read the book, of course you can still come. Just know that there's going to be spoilers on the book. So, anyway, I'll see you there. I'll be there. Actually, I'm not going to be there live this time, but I am going to be there in recording. And if you go to our page for this, thenextfitnessthing.com/book club, you can find the recorded versions of all of our previous book clubs and also the links to all of the future books so that you can be prepared for the next month's book club as well. All right. Be sure that you're in TNFT's Discord. With the new strength challenge, we are going to be really ramping up the Discord and in general. So I really encourage you to be there. I will put the link to the Discord in the show notes below in the description. So check that out as well. And let's see, I believe that's the last one. Okay, so our bonus topic in here, just for Cricut, what we're going to talk about today is, oh, first of all, well, let's come back to this, is pickleball. Let's talk about pickleball. It is pickleball. So tell us, Cricket, what do you love about pickleball? What is your relationship to it? Tell us all about it.
So, what I love about pickleball is its accessibility. I would say in most sports, I'm a sporty gal. I always have been. I've played multiple sports. I've never been able to get good at, like, really good at something like I have had at pickleball. So it's a
You're
real
really good at pickleball?
I'm pretty good. I mean,
Woo!
there's
Okay.
some really good people out there, but I've been able to progress over the years to a point that I'm really proud of. So I think that's why it became so addictive for me is I'm like, wow, I'm getting better fast and I picked it up quickly, which most people do. So it can really feel good to try a new sport and see how quickly. If anyone's new to it, I would say get a lesson so you don't learn any bad habits along the way. But
Okay.
I play about 12 hours a week.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And
most
how
people,
long does it take to play for one day if somebody wanted to just try it for one time?
oh, you could do it for 15 minutes.
Okay.
But when people tend to like play regularly, they play in 2 hour blocks. Like
Mm,
the only time you play for an hour only is if you're playing singles. But not, I would say 95% of pickleball is doubles.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
and the
cool.
community aspect is so amazing. So amazing.
So for those of you who are here live or watching this recording, are you into pickleball? I would love to hear your relationship. Have you tried this? Is it your thing? I've tried it. I actually think it's really fun. I always found tennis to be really high barrier.
Yes, I was terrible.
Like it was like so hard to be reasonably good to be able to actually play was what my experience with tennis was. It was like I was gonna have to practice so much just to participate,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
And I actually think ping pong is really fun. I'm not very good at ping pong, but I like it and I always have fun with it. So my experience, and tell me if this is true. This is just my impression because I've only played pickleball a few times, but it seems like it's like a hybrid
yes,
between
yes.
tennis
If
and
tennis
ping
and
pong.
ping pong, yes, it's definitely a hybrid. You're on a smaller court. You're using a hard surface paddle like in
Right.
ping pong. And what's interesting about racket sports is we were talking about brain health earlier. These paddle sports are remarkable for your brain health.
Totally.
It's
That's so true. Because
another
it's like
bonus.
reactive training
Yes.
basically. So with that kind of thing, it makes it, especially if you want to be able to keep yourself from falling over time in your life and
Yep.
keep your balance, this kind of reactive training where you can see the ball coming at you and you have to actually go find it and you have to
Yeah.
respond to it and not fall over kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it is one of the best things you could do. I love that the ball is really light so that it's
Yeah.
way less conducive to a shoulder injury that way.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I also love that the court's a little smaller than tennis, so you don't have to like juke back and forth. So if you have like knee issues with that, of course you still have to a little bit, but
Yeah.
especially if you're playing doubles, at least I've only played doubles two times, but I felt like I didn't have to run around so
So
much,
much, right?
right?
Right. But there's
Um,
enough where you're building that bone density, right?
oh,
So,
definitely. That's
yeah.
definitely true. And
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you want to run around so much, I'm sure you can.
Oh yeah, you can play singles. I love playing singles.
Cool. I like want to do that with you now. That sounds really,
Right?
really
I'll
fun.
come
Yeah.
visit you.
Cool. It sounds really fun. And come back to Tahoe. There's a pickleball ball court in my parents' neighborhood. That's awesome.
Oh, snap, I'm
It's
in.
on. It's on. And do you have to be a really competitive person to be able to play pickleball? I feel like
Not a
I don't know. It could
Not
go
at
either way.
all, but I would say if you're not competitive, just create a friends group to play around with it. That's how I started, was just with a real, in fact, we called each other the sweet something, sweet shots or something. I mean, it was like really, but if you notice that you start to get competitive, you'll naturally,
Right.
people move around in groups because as you get better, you'll just know, okay, it's nothing personal. It's just I'm going to
Right.
the next
And like
challenge.
the people who are competitive will gravitate toward one another, and the people who aren't
Totally.
will also gravitate toward one
Totally.
another. So
Yeah,
if you want to be competitive, you can go play with those guys. And
that's right.
if you just are gonna have fun and it's not a big deal to you, then you play with these people
That's
over.
right. That's right. Just like
There's-
life.
Yeah, there's a notorious thing of people taking pickleball way too
Oh
serious.
yeah. Oh, the people that I play with, we take it. We don't like. Here's the joke. It's pickleball.
Right.
Like
Totally.
you can be competitive, but nobody loses their cool over it. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. Nobody I play with. I'm like, bye.
Yeah, yeah. That's so funny. Okay, so now I want to make sure people know how to get in contact with you. So we're basically at the
Yeah.
end of the show. I'm gonna put up your social handles, but you tell us what the best way to contact you is, what else do you have
Yeah.
going on, and all that good stuff.
Well, the first place I would go to if you want to learn anything about me is the Cricut Fixes podcast. Because
Okay,
and specifically episode 10 is like it's like everything you want to know about Cricut is in episode 10. So that's
cool.
the first place. I'm on Instagram at Cricut_Fixes. And then if you just want to message me directly, I love hearing from folks what you got out of today's show or other questions that you might have. Or if you want the link to, the Zero for Life link, just email me at cricket@cricketfixes.com. I would
Okay.
love to hear from you. Now
All right,
come
we'll put that
straight
in
to
the
me.
description below too, so that people can find that. And
Perfect.
I have to say, aren't you on TikTok?
I used to be, but I'm really discerning about the platforms that I'm on for
I
reasons to
see.
help
Your
humanity.
energy is now on Instagram. Is
That's
the
correct.
TikTok
That's
energy
correct.
has been transferred to okay.
That's
I was
correct.
like totally following you on TikTok, so okay, okay, got it.
Yeah,
Got it. Cool. So if you want to see all of her awesomeness that she's posting on social, Instagram's the place to go. That's the place.
that's
Okay,
right.
cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Oh,
It has been such a joy, and it also just makes me excited to want to hang out with you again.
I know. Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
It's been too long. It's been an honor to be on your show again. It is this full circle moment, and I just really appreciate the invitation, Alexis. And to
Oh, my
everyone
pleasure.
listening, I appreciate their attention and energy in this conversation. It's an important one.
Yeah, thank you for having this conversation with me. This is such a topic that's so close to my heart. And especially in my family, we've been navigating so much cancer that, like, actually
Yeah,
talking about the alcohol piece is such a big thing that I'm so
it is.
grateful to have this opening to be able to bring this into everyone's awareness.
Mm,
It means a lot to me.
yeah, me
Um,
too.
so thank you for all your vulnerability, and we would love to have you back sometime for sure.
Yay, let's do
Cool.
it.
Awesome. All right. And so what we do on the show is we like to dance it out at the end. So I am going to bring the music back up and we are just going to rock out to the finish. You ready? All right. So give me 1 second to actually get the thing happening. We got it. All right. Here it is. Let's go. All right. Thank you, everybody. Donna D's in the chat saying, no pickleball for me. You can be the pickleball cheerleader, Donna D.
That's right.